One of the best opening lines I've heard in a movie lately is from Adam Sandler's Hustle, and that is, dreams? At my age, we don't get dreams, we have nightmares. And I laughed, or something like that. I laughed uncomfortably because I felt that. Because yeah, lately I've just been feeling like things aren't happening for me. You know, we have a certain amount of time on this earth to get done what we needed to get done, what we're inspired to do. So my next few projects I have to choose wisely, and I think that will go for anyone. Choose wisely, because we don't have much time on this planet. But with that out of the way, lately I've been having these boomer moments. Boomer according to the internet, because I'm not a boomer. My mum is a boomer. But yeah, just little mistakes here and there. And I have a fear that even the smallest thing, like forgetting a lens cap at a wedding, you know, is that the onset of dementia? So I'm really particular about it, just remembering the most smallest things, like yeah, lens cap, don't even leave that behind. But yeah, a couple of mistakes lately. I finally dropped my monopod, my camera. Lucky it was on grass. I used the Sirui, and it's got quite broad feet and you can lock it, and it's stable. Think of it as a tripod, but with a low tipping threshold, I guess. You're not balancing it, it's actually locked. Anyway, it's not the tripod's fault. I forgot to lock the bloody thing, and I never leave a monopod on its own for too long. It was an outdoor wedding, especially outdoors. It was a changeover, you know, when the bride comes down the aisle with dad, and I like to be in the middle then. That's why a skinny little monopod's so good. I get that shot, I flip it around, face the bride and groom now for handshake and all that kind of stuff. And I might leave the monopod there, run and set up the other camera or tripod, anything like that. Just make sure I've got always at least two angles of action. And while I'm there setting up the left camera, I hear this sickening crack, and it's my A7S III 24-105 fell forwards on the grass. And so the loud smacking sound, I think, was largely due to the 24-105 then zooming back in, you know, locking in, followed by, there was enough, and lucky, I think the hood took a lot of it, and then the rest of the pressure popped the camera out of the Manfrotto plate. So a couple of those things combined meant the camera survived, and it was all right. Like focus was hunting when I picked it up. And the worst part was everyone looking at me. I was so embarrassed. And I'm like, it's cool. But then I could see in the camera, it's like hunting. It's basically been knocked senseless. It's been knocked the hell out. Turn the camera off, you know, tried taking the battery in and out. They were still doing some greetings, so I didn't miss that much, plus the other camera was going. Turn the camera back on, thank God, everything seemed to be fine. But it freaked me out, and I was talking to the photographer, there was Gavin, and he's like, try this, what about focus? Take a photo of something, zoom in, check that. And I'm like, that worked, and I'm worried about all the moving parts that these little cameras have. IBIS seemed to be working fine, so the rest of the wedding was fine. So that was boomer moment number one. But then, 2 weeks later, because I'm going somewhere with this, don't worry. I'm trying to get more into photography, and it's just, once again, it's a bit related to age. I never meant to really do photography. My passion is film. I come from 3D graphics to wanting to direct and write movies. And now I've been reminded, this is 9 years doing wedding videography. And I was supposed to be a famous director by now. 9 years. I'm just waiting for that perfect story, you know, that good story. Because like I said, the next project has to be worth my time. Anyway, where was I? So I was doing photography the week after that. And I was happy doing that. Lead our little team of videographers. We didn't have to, they were quite good on their own. They're excellent, actually. But the main goal was to take a little bit of stress off my back. I'm really feeling that, carrying gimbals around all day. And that was brilliant. It felt so light and easy being a photographer. had my double strap thing going on, you know, my gunslinger, and that was cool. Enjoyed that. So that's one positive. But then, and the camera performed all right. I was naughty. The second camera was A7S III, just for close-ups, by the way. 12 megapixels. Put the 135mm lens on there. Close-ups should be fine. Just don't try to do a group shot or architecture in 12 megapixels. I think you'll find it underwhelming. So then I go and do a wedding the next week, back to videography, and everything went well. The sore back again. Plus, I am going through something. I don't know what it is. I feel not depressed. Someone like me who's a competitive person when it comes to tennis or when I was riding motorbikes or whatever, or doing 3D graphics, a competitive person can never get that depressed. It's more frustration, I think. So I'm feeling a combination of these things all the time. Bit of self-loathing, put it that way, at these weddings. But I think I did really well. And I'm like, okay, bride and groom's happy as always. I think this footage is going to be great because I got good emotions from them. I feel like the shots were all good. But I get home on the computer and that A7S III, which I used about 50% of the time, was in HD. And I'm like, what the fuck? I never use HD. HD sucks on these little Sony cameras. It sucks. It line skips. It's got moire. There's grain. It seems like it's not using, if it's not line skipping, it seems like it's not using the full sensor. Like, it probably is and then skipping. But because of that, you're getting noise. It doesn't feel like you're using the full sensor. I don't know. It should be better. My C100 was HD, but had a 4K sensor, and that HD was brilliant. So I don't know how Sony can muck this up so much, but HD is horrible on this camera. So I'm looking at it on the computer, and my first few shots I've decided to go gimbal and wide. I'm going around this beautiful old hotel down in the Kangaroo Valley area. Beautiful and green if you're not from Australia. And there's this old building with some beautiful stairs. I'm like, oh, that'd be sweet, you know, bit of a slow-mo, grand kind of establishing shot. I'm looking at that on the computer and I'm seeing line steps and I'm seeing grain, and I'm like, that looks like HD. So I run to my camera. I've said, you better bloody not be HD. And I open up the menu and there it is, HD. And I'm like, I would never even put that, I've never put my camera on HD, and all I can think of is maybe it's because I dropped it and then did it reset somehow? And then I'm thinking, did I do testing at home? But then why would I test HD? So then this feeling again of, oh my God, is this it? Old age, are you here? I don't remember changing it to HD. And I wrote to the person I shot for and I said, I'm so sorry, camera 1 is HD. I'll add that now to my list of checks. I would never think to check that, even though it's easy to see. It'll have a little HD written on the top, or 4K, if you have that display on. Whoa, let's put this back. I'll put an edit there for you. So now I'm going to add that to my list of quirks. Check all the settings, sound, picture profiles, white balance. Is the camera mysteriously back on HD? I'm still going to use monopods because I know a lot of you would be like, hell no, I'm not risking my camera. But I only use it when it's necessary. And even then, I know it's been 9 years apparently. One of my brides posted an anniversary thing on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my God, she was my first bride. And it says 9 years. So shout out to Louise, who will not be watching my video, along with everyone else. I will still use monopods. There's a time when you need it. And I'll put a shot here. You need a monopod for that. There's only one other way to get that shot of a couple watching speeches, and that is to go back behind all those tables and, you know, have a 70 to 200 or some other long lens. But then something always happens. There's people in the way, or the person in front, they'll move, and it's basically, it just doesn't work. Basically doesn't work from my experience. Although of course I have done that. I've just preferred now to get right in there but not get in the way. And not getting in the way means staying thin, nimble, a small little camera. I'm not setting up this huge tripod and then blocking everyone from being able to see stuff. Hate that. So yeah, I'll still use monopods. But just, I guess, now I'll be even more careful. And another check, well, I always do. I always make sure it's locked. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about. I won't burden you with a rant about what's going on in my life. How we're just not making it yet. I have my dreams and ambitions, and same with my sister and her skincare range, which is perfect and beautiful, by the way. And I just don't understand why the universe hasn't delivered that for her, especially. But yeah, I understand why I haven't made the films and short films that I've wanted to make. I fully understand why weddings takes over your life. Now I'm going to dial it back a lot more and choose my jobs wisely. And I recommend you guys do that as well. That's for a certain person, by the way. If you're just starting in filmmaking, then by all means, make yourself busy. Help out all your friends. Change hats. Be a sound boomer one time and then be a camera operator the other time, and then act in your friend's film. Do as many things as you can. But when you get to my age, I think it's all about the idea, and you really have to pick and choose. And I guess for everyone that should be a balance. Really prepare what you want to do, because life is short, so make the most of it. I will actually say one more thing, and the rest I'll save for the therapist, and that is, I lost my little cat. He was 5 years old and he got killed. So that's been hard on the family. But it's not just that, it's this, I guess it's a midlife crisis. So I don't feel old, I feel young as shit. And I love to play tennis still. It's just the day after I can't move. I just feel a bit more pressure now to get things going to where I wanted it to be. And I think I'm more affected by that. And lastly, I keep saying that, I have noticed that at my age now, people do respond to me differently. Sometimes it's good, but it's embarrassing saying this, but you know, talking to girls, we'll say, that has made me realize, oh yeah, you're not young anymore. Just sit in the corner and shut up, do your work. Don't talk to people, don't try to impress anyone. That's my negative, reaction to that, but it's because I'm not being responded to the way I used to, and that's a bit of a shock, because in that regard, I've had an easy life, and now I see what it's like on the other side, to not have an easy life when talking to the opposite sex. Anyway, I think I've overshared. I will go home and decide how much to put on this video, or I'll just let it be one long take and that's it. But thanks for watching. I think next video I might do another HLG update, because it seems to be changing again, and it's going to be quick, and I'm going to make a LUT. I'm going to make a LUT for both working in a HLG workspace in Premiere Pro and working in a Rec 709 space, because when you export it, it's doing weird things again. It's worse than just the subtle difference that we get when you're working on a Mac on Premiere Pro. I wish they would fix this. I've tried jumping on like tech forums and beta forums, and these engineers just blame each other. Oh, it's a QuickTime thing. Oh, they don't have that empathy of the end user. But we will address that next video. All right. Well, good luck with everything, and I'll see you on the next vid. All right. Bye.